April 13th, 1945, 11 p.m. The Dutch city of Zwolle is dying. For 5 years, the Nazis occupied every street, every building, every square meter of this once beautiful town of 50,000 people. The citizens are starving. The resistance has been crushed. And tomorrow morning, the SS plans to blow the bridges, burn the city, and retreat, leaving nothing but ashes and corpses behind. The Canadian Army is camped 3 miles outside the city, preparing for a full-scale assault that will take days and cost hundreds of lives. But they don't have days. The bridges will be demolished by dawn. The window is closing. In the Canadian Reconnaissance Unit, a 24-year-old corporal named Léo Major is loading his Sten gun and checking his grenades. He's been told the plan: wait for the main assault. Don't do anything stupid. Stay alive. Léo Major has never been good at following orders. He turns to his best friend, Corporal Willy and says something that sounds completely insane. We're going in tonight. Just the two of us. We're gonna take the whole city. Willy stares at him. There are hundreds of Germans in there, maybe 1,000. Léo shrugs. Then we'll have to be loud. What happens next shouldn't be possible. 2 men don't liberate an entire city. 2 men don't make a German garrison of 300+ soldiers flee in terror. 2 men don't capture or kill dozens of enemy troops, destroy multiple machine gun nests, and force an entire SS unit to abandon their positions, all in one night, all without backup, all without air support or artillery. But Léo Major isn't 2 men. He's barely 1. He's already lost his left eye to a phosphorus grenade in Normandy. He refused the medical discharge because, as he told his commanding officer, "I only need 1 eye to shoot Germans." He's been fighting since D-Day, racking up kills and decorations like a man possessed. He's been offered medals and turned them down because the generals offering them were incompetent. He's been called reckless, suicidal, and insane. But the Dutch resistance calls him something else: the ghost who saved their city. Léo Major was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, to French-Canadian parents who moved back to Quebec when he was a child. He grew up poor, angry, and absolutely convinced that he was tougher than anyone who tried to tell him otherwise. When World War II started, he enlisted in the Canadian Army at 19, not because he loved his country, not because he believed in the cause, because he wanted to fight, and the war was the only place left where fighting was legal. He was assigned to Régiment de la Chaudière, a French-Canadian infantry unit. His commanders quickly realized 2 things about Léo Major. He was one of the best scouts in the entire Canadian Army, and he was completely impossible to control. He didn't follow protocol, he didn't wait for orders, he didn't care about rank or chain of command. If he saw an opportunity to kill Germans, he took it. If he saw a bad plan, he said so. If an officer tried to discipline him, he told them exactly where they could shove their stripes. In Normandy, during the battle for Scheldt, Léo was hit in the face with a white phosphorus grenade. The explosion shredded his left eye, burned half his face, and should have sent him home.
Burns are extensive.
The
We need to
doctors
debride
told
now.
him his
Just
war
do
was
it. I
over.
felt worse.
Léo told the doctors
I'm not going
to
home,
go
Doc.
to hell.
I'm fit to fight.
He ripped off
Private,
his
your injury
bandages,
is severe. You
walked
must
out of the
stand
field
down.
hospital,
No, I won't quit.
and
The
went
war
back
needs
to his
me.
unit.
This is an order.
He fought
Take the
rest
papers.
of the war
Stubborn
with 1
fool.
eye, a scarred face, and a grudge against anyone who suggested he slow down. By April 1945, Léo Major had already done things that would make most soldiers legends. He'd single-handedly captured 93 German soldiers during the Scheldt offensive. 93 by himself. He'd walked into a German position, started shooting, and convinced an entire company that they were surrounded by a battalion. They surrendered to 1 man. But Zwolle was different. Zwolle wasn't about prisoners. It was about time. April 13th, 1945, 11:30 p.m. The Dutch city of Zwolle is slipping into the outskirts of Zwolle under the cover of darkness. They're not part of an assault force. They're not scouts gathering intelligence. They're 2 men with Sten guns, grenades, and a plan that most military historians would call tactically insane. The plan is simple. Make so much noise that the Germans think the entire Canadian army is attacking. Hit them from multiple angles, never stop moving, create chaos. Force them to retreat. It's not a plan, it's psychological warfare distilled into pure audacity. They move through the empty streets like shadows. Zwolle is under curfew. The Nazis have ordered everyone inside. The streets are silent except for the sound of German patrols. Léo and Willy can hear them. Boots on cobblestones, voices in German, the metallic click of rifles being checked. Léo holds up his hand. Stop. Wait. A German patrol rounds the corner. 6 soldiers, armed with MP-40 submachine guns. They're walking casually, smoking cigarettes, talking. Why would they expect trouble? The city is theirs. The Canadians are miles away. Léo and Willy open fire. The Sten gun is not a precision weapon. It's a cheap, mass-produced submachine gun that jams constantly and sprays bullets like a garden hose. But in close quarters, in the dark, it's devastating. The German patrol doesn't stand a chance. 4 of them go down in the first burst. The other 2 try to run. Léo chases one into an alley and finishes him with a grenade. Willy gets the other. 6 Germans in 30 seconds. But the noise has done something more important than kill soldiers. It's woken up the city. Lights flick on in windows. German officers start shouting. Somewhere in the distance, an alarm begins to wail. The garrison is mobilizing. And that's exactly what Léo wants. Because now he's going to make them think they're under attack from an entire division. Léo and Willy split up. Willy takes the south side of the city. Léo takes the north. The plan is to hit as many German positions as possible, as fast as possible, from as many directions as possible. Never stay in one place. Never let them pin you down. Keep moving. Keep shooting. Keep them guessing. Léo moves through Zwolle like a one-man blitzkrieg. He hits a machine gun nest on Dieserstraat, killing 3 soldiers and destroying the gun with a grenade. He ambushes a patrol near the city center, dropping 4 more Germans with precise bursts from his Sten. He throws grenades into a German barracks, blows out the windows, and disappears into the smoke before anyone can return fire. And the entire time, he's yelling. In French, in English, in broken German, he's screaming orders to imaginary soldiers. Flank them from the left, bring up the machine guns, artillery, target that building. He's making it sound like there are dozens of men with him, hundreds, a full assault force. But the Germans believe him, because why wouldn't they? They're hearing gunfire from multiple directions. They're seeing explosions across the city. They're losing men faster than they could regroup. And the intel they've been given says the Canadians are preparing a major offensive. This must be it. This must be the vanguard. The main force must be right behind them. The German officers start making decisions. Pull back, consolidate, regroup at the command post. We'll make our stand there. But they don't realize they're retreating from one man. But then tragedy. Willy Arsenault is moving through the southern district when he walks into a German ambush. A burst of machine gun fire catches him in the chest. He goes down hard. He's dead before he hits the ground. Léo hears the gunfire. He knows what it means. He runs towards the sound, but by the time he gets there, the Germans have already moved Willy's body. Léo finds his rifle and his grenades, but Willy is gone. For most soldiers, this would be the end. Your friend is dead. You're alone in an enemy-occupied city. You have no backup, no communication, no support. The rational thing to do is retreat, report back, let the main force handle it. Léo Major is not rational. He picks up Willy's grenades, he reloads his Sten gun, and he decides that if the Germans think one man is an army, he's going to prove them right.
What follows is one of the most insane rampages in military history. Léo Major stops being a soldier. He becomes a force of nature. He hits the German headquarters. He kills the officers. He captures the SS commander and gives him a choice. Order your men to evacuate the city, or I blow this building with you inside it. The SS commander looks at Léo, one-eyed, covered in blood, holding a grenade with the pin already pulled, and makes a decision. He orders the retreat. The Germans pull out of Zwolle, not because they're beaten, not because they're surrounded, because one man convinced them that staying was suicide. By dawn, Léo Major is standing in the city center. German soldiers are streaming out of the city on the eastern roads. The resistance is emerging from hiding. The citizens are coming out of their homes, and Léo is standing there alone, covered in soot and blood, with an empty Sten gun and 3 grenades left. The Canadian Army rolls into Zwolle at 8 a.m., expecting a battle. They find a liberated city. The bridges are intact, the Germans are gone, and Léo Major is sitting on a park bench, smoking a cigarette, waiting for them. His commanding officer stares at him. What the hell happened here? Léo shrugged. I made some noise. The Dutch resistance estimates that Léo Major killed or captured between 50 and 100 German soldiers that night. He destroyed multiple machine gun nests. He drove an entire garrison out of a strategically critical city. He saved the bridges from demolition. He did it all in one night, mostly alone, with one eye and a weapon that jammed every 20 rounds. The Canadian Army wanted to give him a medal. Léo refused. He said the general trying to give it to him was incompetent and didn't deserve the honor of pinning anything on his chest. The Dutch, however, didn't ask permission. They named a street after him. They invited him back every year for liberation celebrations. They built monuments. Because to the people of Zwolle, Léo Major wasn't just a soldier. He was the ghost who saved their city. But Léo wasn't done. In 1951, the Korean War broke out. Léo Major, now 30 years old, re-enlisted. During the Battle of Hill 355, his unit was ordered to hold a strategic position against a Chinese assault. The Chinese attacked with 14,000 soldiers. Léo's unit had 200 men. For 3 days, Léo fought. He called in artillery strikes. He organized counterattacks. He killed so many Chinese soldiers that his company held the hill. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found Léo Major standing in a trench, surrounded by empty shell casings, covered in blood, still shooting. The Canadian Army gave him another medal. This time, he took it, not because he respected the generals, but because his men had earned it, and refusing would dishonor them. Léo Major died in 2008 at the age of 87. He spent his later years in Montreal running a small business, rarely talking about the war. When reporters asked him about Zwolle, he'd shrug and say, "I did what needed to be done." But in Zwolle, they remember. Every April 14th, the city holds a liberation ceremony. They lay flowers at the monument. They tell the story of the one-eyed soldier who refused to wait for permission to do the impossible. Because Léo Major proved something that every military academy teaches, but few soldiers ever live. Wars aren't won by the biggest army. They're won by the soldier who refuses to accept that the mission is impossible. In 1945, the Canadian Army had tanks, artillery, air support, and thousands of men. But they were going to take days to liberate Zwolle, days the city didn't have. Léo Major had one eye, one gun, and one night, and he decided that was enough. The German garrison had machine guns, fortified positions, and numerical superiority. They had every tactical advantage. Léo Major had audacity. He walked into an occupied city and made 300 German soldiers believe they were being overrun by a division. He turned psychological warfare into a weapon sharper than any rifle. He proved that fear is contagious, chaos is a tactic, and sometimes the most dangerous weapon on a battlefield is a soldier who doesn't care about the odds. Because on April 13, 1945, Léo Major proved something, that one man who refuses to quit is more dangerous than an entire division that's waiting for orders. The Nazis occupied Zwolle for 5 years. Léo Major liberated it in one night. And that's not a war story. That's a lesson. The lesson is this. Sometimes the person who changes history isn't the one with the most resources, the best plan, or the largest army. Sometimes it's the person who looks at an impossible situation and says, "Watch me." Léo Major was that person, and Zwolle is still free because of it.